you've been following my channel, you remember about a month ago I said this about my Ford Maverick truck. This is from leatherseats.com, and I've got samples of leather seating. So if you've got a XL, XLT, or even the Lariat and you want actual leather seating and you don't want to go to Katzkin and pay an installer, these are going to be a great alternative for the DIY crowd. So let's take a look at what they actually sent me as far as like the samples go. Obviously, from looking at this pile of seat covers here on my workbench, I'm a man of my word and I have that task completed. This video is going to be a review of the leatherseats.com product that I purchased and installed DIY super duper in my shop here. Also did a companion video if you want to see how to install the seat covers on a Ford Maverick step by step, each step at a time. I have a companion video. It's almost an hour long, and it's up here. You can see in the card here or down in the description below. I put that down there so you can find that video. But this is basically the review on the leather seats that I purchased for the Maverick. Now from the jump, I talked to Julian at leatherseats.com, and he was just absolutely amazing. He walked me through every step of the process. He got me the color samples. He answered all the questions that I had. I had a few. And after I ordered it, he made sure everything was okay. And my question of, hey, the center console, there's no leather for it. He worked out where if I send it back to them, they're going to do that and send it back to me because I don't think they have a pattern for it. So it was just awesome customer service from start to end. Now, here's the other thing that I would say. If you follow my channel, if you watch what we do, it is DIY, do it yourself. Now, I did contact Katzkin, which is the leading probably company to do seat covers for every kind of vehicle made, right? I filled out all the information, and then the price was, you don't know. They have to call you back, or you have to call them. Now, I waited a couple days, no one called me, so I did call them, and they said, oh yeah, they pulled it up, they had it, and they said, oh, I see that you configured this, blah, blah, blah. What kind of options did you want? And I was just like, I told them that I wanted the ultimate leather, which is what I was looking at, apples to apples, right, on the leatherseats.com, which is mostly leather on the seating surfaces rather than leather and vinyl in the back seat, right? Thankfully, she said, you know what, there's a no interest blah, 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 and they were going through the sales pitch. Bottom line, their price was about $2,400 plus tax to leave my truck at a shop one day and have the leather seats installed. Now, the kit that I purchased, it was on sale. Leatherseats.com does have sales, so if you watch periodically, you can get like 10 to 20% off, and that's what I did. And I think it was my kit premium package with the installation kit was $1,200 total. Shipped, delivered to my door. So you can figure that I saved probably $1,200 to $1,400 over having someone else do it. And another thing, I have the bragging rights to say, hey, I put these seats in and recovered them myself rather than, oh, I dropped it off for a shop for a day and then I picked it back up. I was really super thrilled with it. So I wanted to go through the video quickly as far as the installation part goes, because like I said, there's another video on that, but go through as I did it, how it came out, what the difficulties were, and it really wasn't that hard. On a scale from 1 to 10 for me, I'm probably looking at, for me, I don't know, 3, 2. Time consuming, yes. Tedious on the hog ring pliers, yes. But as far as like difficulty, it was not that difficult. If you take it out and you take your time and you put it back together just like it came apart, it's not super hard. Steamers, very important. This is a cheap steamer from Amazon for like 60 bucks. I'll put a link down below. You do really kind of need a steamer. A steamer really does help to get a quality wrinkle-free finish and make it easier to install in some aspects of it. So the $50 steamer was a good investment. So with all that said, with me going blah, 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 let's go ahead and start looking at receiving the seat covers, putting them on, and the end result in a very condensed form because this is a review. I got my seat covers in from leatherseats.com, and I can say that I am super impressed with these. I went for the deluxe leather, which is leather all the way to the edges, and then there's some vinyl around the bottom part. You can get a little bit more vinyl, it's a little bit cheaper, but I paid right around, I think, $1,200 for everything with an installation kit and all with the deluxe leather. These things look really, really nice. I got perforated right here in the base model, hopefully to get a little bit more airflow, whatever. I thought it looked cool. And this is all leather. This is leather on the sides. This middle section's leather. I want to say this should be leather, is it? This connecting piece here is vinyl in the back, and on the very edges is vinyl, but you can't really tell a lot of difference. Now, you see the difference between real leather and vinyl. The real leather has what's called grain or wrinkling. You know, it just looks like a real material, where the vinyl is just smooth, there's no wrinkles, and it's just going to stay that way no matter what. On the deluxe seats, the center portion all the way over is leather, so those look really great. Let's compare it to the factory colors on the Maverick. Now, I know that on the camera it can be a little bit deceiving, but when I look at the colors, the brown is a little more brown and a little less, I don't know, reddish brown, I guess what you would call the factory one. And you can see that there's a lot more grain to the real leather and even the vinyl from the replacement seats than the factory one. The factory one's just completely smooth. It just looks more natural compared to the factory one, which has no definition to it whatsoever. It's just super smooth. Right here you can see that's where I lost a couple stitches, and they're going to get me a replacement bottom bolster. So we'll see how that goes as far as them giving it to me, or they're just going to deny it. But you can see the factory one has blue stitching on the brown and beige stitching on the blue, and the replacement one is just going to be beige. You can see that it's beige all the way across, which I'm fine with that. The insert's a little bit different on the replacement ones. This part is blue. On the replacement one, you can kind of see here. But as far as that goes, they actually match fairly well, and I think the coloring is much better. It's very classy looking for sure. I did do one of the rear headrests just to play around with it, and this is leather in the middle versus the vinyl. And you can see that it's got a lot more grain to it versus the super smooth pleather. But other than that, the colors are very similar. Even the vinyl on the leatherseats.com has a lot more grain to it than the Ford factory, which has no grain hardly at all. It's just kind of funny. All right, tell me that doesn't look nice. I need to still take the steamer and go in these little spots right in here, take out a couple of the little wrinkles, but for the most part, that went on really well. There was times that I cussed a little bit, but I'm super happy with the back right here. It looks great. Overall, it looks really nice. Not many wrinkles in the brown. On the blue, there's some. Now, a lot of these, if you just leave it alone, they'll actually go out on their own just because of normal stretching and moving. But we can take some steam and heat it up a little bit and massage it and see if we can get a little bit of those wrinkles out. Personally, I think it actually looks good enough just to stick in there, but I may work on a little bit right here on these edges as far as like a few wrinkles go, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. To get some of those wrinkles out, the middle section didn't have hardly any wrinkles, so I didn't even mess with it. It looks really nice. I'm super happy with it. So this is ready to be reinstalled. I'll probably hit this with a little bit of steam, get some of those wrinkles to work themselves out before installation, and we'll put the front, and I will reinstall it. Looks great. Here we go. It took out some of the wrinkles. Now I'm not going to do anything more to it. I think that looks fine. I'm putting leather on so it looks like leather, not vinyl. So this little steamer did okay. I've got a bigger one coming. And now I'm going to treat it with some leather conditioner. And you need to use this periodically just to protect your leather. So just for comparison, this is the original factory, which I'll save or sell, I don't know, one or the other, who knows. but you can see the grain in it, that there is no wrinkling whatsoever. I mean, it's just vinyl, you know, nice pleather. And when you look at the replacement, the color's a little bit better, I think, but it's got that grain to it. It looks like leather. It's just a lot classier looking, and I am just thrilled with the way it came out. So I'm going to get these loaded up, take them back to the house where the Maverick is, and we'll install them back in, and we'll take a look what it looks like in the truck. Okay, so I got all the trim pieces back on, all the plastic on the sides, underneath, all that garbage, and the back seat looks amazing. I'll do some more videos in the sun of how it looks, but it turned out really, really nice. And it would really be hard to tell that this seat isn't factory. If you were to go with different colors, it would still look just as amazing. I think especially if you had an XL or XLT. I thought we'd take a look at the difference between the two. The one on the right, of course, is the leather one, and it looks gorgeous. Love that leather look. And then the one on the left is the factory pleather, and you can see that it's kind of a reddish brown, as opposed to that's called cocoa is the color of that. Now, if you were doing seats, you don't have to pick these two colors. You could pick all blue, blue with gray. There's all kinds of variations, but I wanted to kind of stay with the factory colors just because it matches all the accents, but I did want the leather. So I am just really, really happy so far with how this is coming out. I got one more seat to do, and then I'm going to send off the center console to leatherseats.com, and they're going to cover that for me because they don't have a pattern. Alright, I got both seats done. I'm going to take them home and install them in the truck. I won't say that it was super fun, but the outcome is amazing and beautiful. So let's get these in the truck and we'll take a look at them once they're installed back in Mavi. Finally, I'm done with the seats. I got them all installed back in. We're going to take a quick look, and then I'll give you my closing thoughts on the kit from leatherseats.com and the installation. Give me just a minute and we'll take a look. Man, the seats look absolutely amazing. Now, what I would say is these don't look as different as some would because of the color combination that I put on. The blue and the tan match the factory colors fairly well. This is a little bit more chocolate brown. The center console I'm sending off to leatherseats.com. They're going to cover that up and I think make a pattern for it. But I can't be more happy with the way it looks. It's very comfortable to sit in. The quality is OEM for sure. I think it turned out really, really well, especially since I've never done one of these before. Everything works just like before. I checked out the seat heaters and it heated up my backside just fine on both seats, so that's working fine. And all the electronics, plugged it back in, no issues whatsoever. So that was awesome. This is one last comparison between the pleather and the real leather. You can just see the grain difference and how smooth this is. And it is so much softer when you touch it. This doesn't give it all, and the leather is just, I guess supple is the right word. But I am just really, really happy with the way it turned out. Okay, final thoughts on the seat leather kit from leatherseats.com. First of all, the quality on the kit was really amazing. I thought it was rival to any OEM that I've seen. Second, if you've got some mechanical skills, and I don't mean like being able to rebuild a motor or something like that, it's really not that hard. It's just a process. Like anything else, a process is just looking at what you're taking off and just recreating it, putting it back on. The most tedious part was the hog rings, cutting them and putting them back on. That was a pain. And a steamer. I'm going to put a link down below to the steamer that I used. The steamer actually does help quite a bit, especially on like headrest or trying to get the sides over. It does take out some wrinkles. A lot of the wrinkles will kind of go away after it's been sitting on there for a while because the leather will stretch and move and everything else. But the heat from the steamer is not going to damage the seat, and it'll also get rid of some of those wrinkles, so give you a better looking installation. So overall, I'll give it a 10. And if you've got XL or XLT, putting in leather, I think it would make a huge difference versus what I had was the pleather to the leather. and similar colors. It didn't look a lot different, but it actually feels a lot different, and it just is a lot classier. So Mavi is a lot more classy with leather seats in it. I think it turned out absolutely awesome. Leatherseats.com was phenomenal in answering any questions and getting back to me right away. Julian is who I dealt with there. He was spot on. So all I can say is get you some leather and slap it in there. Any questions, comments, post them below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I came up with. And the only other side note would be I got a couple scratches putting the seats in and out because they're really kind of heavy to reach in and out. Put something along your plastic just so you don't scratch it as you're getting the seats in and out. That's the only thing that I would say that you really should do because I got a couple little scratches in there. No big deal. Appreciate you being a subscriber. Appreciate you watching. Like I said, I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.